Welcome to Upleveling, the podcast dedicated to building better leaders, smarter systems, and bigger results. All right, let's talk about the thing that's changing everything, AI. It's no longer for tech nerds or these massive companies anymore. If you're a business owner and you're not using AI yet, I promise you, you are leaving time, money, and creativity on the table. Today, I'm going to show you how I'm using it in my real life, personally and professionally, and how you can start too. So first, I just want to say that the tech world is evolving very fast. I would even say faster than what we've seen before. And really, you've got two choices. You can either embrace it or you can fall behind. And this is not something to be very fearful of. AI is not going to replace you. It's going to multiply your effectiveness and your efficiency. I say all the time in my CPA firm that people pay us because they are building a relationship with us. And AI can help me behind the scenes, but clients still want a real human being. So I'm not going to be replaced by AI, but I do want it to help me serve my clients better. So let's drop that fear of maybe ignoring this because you're afraid that you're going to be replaced, and think of this as a new tool. Think of this as, if you're old enough, like when email came out or when Google came out. Like, it's just another tool for us to put in our tool belt to be better at our job. And really, AI is not a strategy, it is a tool. But the tool can help you be better than your competition. And that is what I want for you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed about AI, you are in the right spot. I think the smartest thing to do, if you haven't done anything with AI yet, or maybe you've just dabbled a little bit, is to start small, but start where it's fun and easiest, and that's in your personal life. I'm just going to walk through some ways that I have used it recently in my personal life and some things that I have set up to kind of make my life easier. So the first thing is, this is kind of a fun one. Well, let me preface by saying I do have the paid account. We have a team account at Align CPA. I think it's $20 a user per month, and it is the best $20 I spend every single month. So don't be afraid to pay for the tool. Now, if you just want to test it out, the free version is great too. We have a team version because it gives us higher level security. It is HIPAA compliant. We're not sharing confidential information with AI, but I like knowing I have that level of security. So back to the personal ways I'm using it. Since I do have a paid version, I can set up reminders and task reminders. So one of the things I have is at the beginning of every month, I get an email list with all of the events going on in my community. And I think I have it like within 45 minutes or something. And this is just kind of fun because it'll show me a concert or an art show or a clothing pop-up, fun little activities that I can go ahead and plan, like if I want to go to those with my family or not, and things that I might not have been aware of. So I'm using it as an assistant. I also use it for travel itineraries, which is fantastic. It planned our whole vacation to Boston this summer. And the good thing about it is, like, talking to ChatGPT, that's my preference, that and Perplexity, but talking to it like it's a real person. And what I loved about it is I was able to go in and say, hey, we have 3 kids and they're these ages, and I know I want to do, like, I knew we wanted to go to Fenway Park and do a baseball game. I knew we wanted to do other things. So based on all of this information, and here's the days we're going to be, what area of town should we stay in, and where should we eat, and what are some activities we should do? And it planned out a whole itinerary. And it was just really fun that I didn't have to do that because honestly, like, I don't have hours and hours to plan a family vacation. So now it's just my travel assistant. I use it for meal planning. Now, first, I'm pretty thankful my husband does most of our cooking, but not always. And so it's really good to say like, hey, I've got these ingredients. What can I make? I always say I've got 30 minutes and I have these 3 things. Give me a recipe that's high in protein or whatever it is you're eating. Give it all of the, I guess I would say like boundaries you want it to follow or constraints you want it to have. And it's going to give you something helpful. So that's real fun. A recent one was a book selection. So I am an avid reader of like personal or professional development books. And I also use my ChatGPT all the time, like 12 times a day, you know. So I was able to, all I did was I had 2 books laid out at Barnes & Noble on the floor. And I said, based on what you know of me and the struggles I'm going through with work, which book should I read next? And it was able to pick the book I should read and tell me why, which I thought was really cool. And then I don't just stop at one book. So then I laid 2 more out and said, okay, after I read this book, I'm thinking of reading these 2. What's your thoughts? Which should I read next? And it told me exactly why. And it was spot on the money. Like it was telling me the issues or the problems I'm trying to solve and why each book would be good for me to read or not good to read. So that was a fun one. The last personal example I'll give you is, if you know me personally, I love interior design, but it can be very complicated. I was deciding to like replace every single throw pillow in my house, which was way more stressful than I was expecting. But it was really cool how it was able to help me like understand like size of pillows you need for a bed or for a couch. And then patterns. You need a small pattern and a large pattern and colors and just all of these things that like people go to design school to learn. I now have that at my fingertips. So I really just want you to get in there and play around with it. Don't start super complicated at the business level. Start at the personal level, because this is going to help you be more confident, and just the more you use it, the more confident you are, just like everything in life. So hop in and do it. Now I'm going to go and share some business stuff with you. And I know this may be overwhelming, but I don't want it to be overwhelming, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I want it to be inspiring, and I want it to give you ideas of what is possible. And I'll tell you too, if you are a client of Aligned CPA and you're listening to this and you're fascinated, like call us. I will help you set this up. I'm not a guru by no means, and I would not do this as like a paid service. I'm just doing it because I want our clients to win. And even if you're not a client, I want you to win and be more successful. And this is a great way to do it. So I'm going to walk you through some custom GPTs that I've built for Aligned and how I use them. Again, and I just want this to inspire you, give you ideas. Really, my hope is that each of these would lighten your load, make your team smarter, and save you time. That is what we're all after. I think you have to have a paid account to do a custom GPT. And what a custom GPT is, inside of ChatGPT, you can build a custom GPT. No, that sounds ridiculous. I keep saying that over and over. But you give it very specific instructions, and you tell it what you want the output to be. You tell it if you want it to search the web, or do you want it to search internal documentation. You give it all of these limitations, and that's what makes it fantastic. That's what makes it different than just regular ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is going to go out to the entire web, and it might find things that aren't relevant to what you're trying to do. And so the custom is you get to customize it for exactly what you want it to do. So the first one is we have an Aligned hiring partner. I highly suggest this, because I will tell you the number one problem all of our clients have is hiring, retaining, training, everything around employees. So our custom GPT for hiring, what it's allowed me to do is upload our job descriptions, upload our KPIs and our KRAs, and upload our posted job ad, all kinds of things. I think I may have my employee handbook in there, but I may not. So what I have it do is, like, when we're hiring, I'll say, okay, based off this job description for a staff accountant or for a tax manager, help me write a new job ad that's going to attract someone to Aligned. The more instructions you give it, the better output it's going to get. But other things I was able to do is like when we were hiring our last senior accountant, I was able to plug resumes into it and say, hey, based off this job description, I want you to analyze this resume and tell me if I should move them to the next step and interview them. Now, let me put a little asterisk here. We're a small enough business that I still read the resumes because I have heard some stories online of massive companies doing basically the same thing and AI not picking up on highly qualified potential employees. And so I do still look at them, but what it's able to do is look at them for me and tell me why they think the person is a good fit and why it's not. And on top of that, I've used our ChatGPT so much, like it knows our culture, it knows our core values. And so it's able to pull up some of those like more soft skills or more experience and not just like skills level stuff to see if someone's going to be a good fit, especially if they give me a cover letter, because that's always fun to put through there. Not only that, it's also able, like once, let's say I have an employee and I'm ready to, or a potential employee and I'm ready to interview them. And I'll say, hey, based off this resume, write me 20 interview questions that you think would be helpful to go over with this person. So just think of this as this truly is my hiring partner. That's why it's called that. And it has saved me so much time and helped me make decisions. Next, I want to talk about marketing and sales. So I'm going to say first that it is super powerful to use for marketing content, but everyone else is also using it for marketing content. And you still want to be authentic. Like, do not go, and this is what social media is telling you to do not go and make a custom GPT and then say, hey, give me 10 Instagram reels. Because guess what? Your Instagram reels are going to start to look like everyone else's, and now you haven't accomplished anything because you're not setting yourself apart. So use this as a tool, not the be-all, end-all. And so for marketing, what we were able to do is upload, in this custom GPT, upload our branding board, upload our marketing playbook, upload our ideal client. We talk a lot about like our tone. Our tone is casual and confident. So I want to make sure if it's helping us create marketing material, it is authentic to Align CPA, and it's not going to sound like every other CPA firm out there. So the more customized it is, the more helpful it is. Now, when it's helping us create content or create a strategy or a content calendar, those types of things, we're letting it create that first draft, and then we're editing it based off how we talk or what we would want to say. We're not making Instagram posts and then copy and pasting. So I want this to be a tool to help speed you up, but not to replace your marketing staff or your outside marketing team. You still need that expert level human being in this process. Now, for sales, I have a sales GPT, and it is the reason why I am able to still be our salesperson. I had to take over that position back in February when someone left, and AI has really saved me on that because it frees up so much of my time by using my custom GPT, whereas this really needs to be a full-time position, and fun fact, it will be soon. So, if you know any great salespeople, hit me up. But I use this all day in my job with prospects. And this is around, most of it is writing email responses or follow-ups. I used it the other day where I had a prospect that had really ghosted me, and I thought it was a really good prospect. So I copied the last 3 emails that we had. I put it into the custom GPT and said, hey, I want to follow up one more time. Write me a powerful email that is short and concise that will help this person reach back out to me. And guess what? It did that, and the person reached back out. So follow up is key in sales. But other ways I use it in sales is I will record our discovery consultation with that prospect, and then I put it into our custom GPT so that it can list out the pain points that the prospect has, the issues that they're having, the likelihood that I can close this deal. It will tell me budget conscious or not, all kinds of fantastic information so that I know how to follow up with that prospect. Because in sales, like especially in what I do, like I can't treat everyone the same. I need to customize like my conversations based on what problems they're having. And so ChatGPT has really allowed me to do that. And not only that, this will kind of lead into like that sales GPT, as well as we have a meeting assistant that we will take transcripts from meetings, whether that's clients or prospects, and put those into a custom GPT for it to produce a report for us. And we'll do this with client meetings. And so it'll produce a report that says, okay, here's the meeting date, here's who we met with, here's a summary of the meeting and what was discussed. But the best part is then it'll say, okay, these are the tasks that a line need to complete for this client. And then here's the task that the client needs to complete. And this has been so good for us because, you know, what would happen in the past is I might meet with a client and I would take notes. And after the fact, either one, I didn't know what the heck my notes meant, or two, maybe I didn't capture something correctly or capture it at all in my notes, and then I end up dropping the balls. And so it's, okay, how can we capture knowledge and make sure we're serving our clients best and preserve the knowledge? What happens in our tax planning meetings is a client may tell me something that maybe isn't super relevant right then, but it could be in a couple months. And I'm able to capture this and pass this on to my team members. So that way, all of this knowledge is no longer stored in my head. It is in the client's folder. And so everybody knows what's going on. And that's super important in what I do, because if something happens to me, or let's say we have a team member that leaves, I do not want that to hurt our client. And by using AI, we're capturing the knowledge that used to live in our heads and putting it on paper so that our clients can be served amazingly no matter what team member they are working with. That's probably why I love AI the most, is it allows us to be so much better at our job than we were a year ago or 5 years ago. And that is super important to me. We have some other GPTs for like tax research, bookkeeping reviews, tax return reviews. But what I will say on the tax research side, because listen, if you're a client, I'm sure you've brought me some tax strategy that you've learned off AI or social media already. And tax planning is super tricky because if you leave one fact out, it completely changes the strategy. Tax research in AI is not where it needs to be yet, because I have tested this over and over with code sections that I know front and back, and I'll ask it questions and it gives me wrong answers. And it gives me wrong answers because, well, sometimes it's just dead wrong. And I'll even come back in and say, no, you're wrong. How about this? And it'll reply like, you're right. I got that wrong. Haha. That's what I imagine it's doing behind the scenes. But when I know things specifically and it's giving me wrong answers, I will not allow our team to do tax research on AI. It is a great place for a starting point, but it cannot be our ending point. And so that's where it's at on tax research. But that's what I mean by like clients will bring me tax strategies and they're like, I saw this or I read this. And I'm like, oh, well, you didn't tell it this one fact. You know, you didn't tell it that you're an S corporation, or you didn't tell it that you're not a real estate professional. Like all of these different things that are going to skew the answer you get. So don't do strategic tax research. Number one, don't do your own tax research at all. Bring the idea or the thought to me and we'll do it behind the scenes. But number two, if you're in a regulatory or a compliance type industry, I don't know that AI is where it needs to be to kind of hang your hat on answers. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how to get your team or your employees to embrace AI, because what we found was they were really scared of it, or maybe they're afraid that their job is going to be taken. So you have to walk through this with that in mind and help them embrace it. You don't need to force it, but you need to create a culture of curiosity. So one of the things that we do is we have a weekly production meeting with our team. And so that's all of our staff accountants and tax managers and admin, anyone who is helping with the production side or the service related side of what we do. We meet every Monday and we have a whole agenda that we go over. But one of the things on that agenda is AI use cases. And what I want the team to do is every week we spend, and this is probably no longer than like 5 minutes, we talk about how we have used AI in the previous week. And I tell them all the time, I want you to talk about how you're using it in your personal life. Like, you don't have to come with a business reason of how you're using it. And so this has really, number one, it's opened them up to the idea of like, hey, they better start using it. It gives kind of them some accountability that they know we're going to talk about this every Monday. But also it gives them ideas because they see what other teammates are talking about or doing with AI. And so then they're more likely to do it. So it's encouraging them to have ideas, and it also is building comfort. And lastly, it's really normalizing AI as a part of how we work, and it's holding them accountable. They know we're talking about it every Monday. And now, in the beginning, it was crickets. And honestly, some weeks it's still crickets. And I will call them out because if I have a teammate that I know hasn't spoken up about AI in the past couple weeks, then I'll call them out. And now sometimes they'll say, hey, I really haven't. And so then it's just like a coaching moment of saying, okay, well, let's talk about some areas where you could have used it or something like that. We're all going to have those teammates or employees that maybe aren't very tech savvy or don't really like change. So it's really fun to see them bring these ideas to the meeting because they're waiting until Monday to be like, oh, let me tell you about what I did last week. So that's a lot of fun. But ultimately, your pro tip in this is leadership has to go first. You have to set the tone as the leader. You can't expect your team to embrace this if you're not talking about it. So I'm going to tell you that the accountability stops with you. So you need to set the tone for what you expect of your team. So really, AI is also a mind shift. It's not a magic wand, but it is a very powerful assistant. You don't need to master it overnight, and you just need to start on the personal level because that's going to be the easiest. And it's going to bring some ideas into your business that maybe either you didn't have time to do things about before, or it's going to help you come up with new ideas. I think it's just something that I don't want you to overthink it. I just want you to use it. And then use it again, and then use it again. And before you know it, it really has become a second nature. And it's not overwhelming because I will tell you that this is going to be the most powerful tool that you could use in your business right now. And I would even say that a lot of your competition is probably not using it yet. And so I want you to be the first to do that. This is how you can beat your competition because AI is going to help you get better. It's going to help you work more efficiently. It's going to help you with your marketing message. It's going to help how you deliver your service. It's going to help you write emails that are really hard to write. You get a bad review on Google. How do you respond to it? Plug that review into ChatGPT and ask it how to respond. Don't ignore it. That's the worst thing you can do. And plus, they also say like a couple bad reviews is not bad on Google because it shows that you're human. And it's really all about how you respond to it. But let it be your assistant. And like I said, try it, test it out, play with it, and just keep doing that. So if this episode really inspired you to try something new with AI, I'd love to hear about it. So send me a DM or tag me. I want to know what you're exploring and how it has helped you. Thanks for tuning in to Upleveling. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more entrepreneurs like you discover the show. Let's keep the conversation going. Connect with us on social media or visit aligncpa.com for resources and updates. Until next time, keep leading, optimizing, and upleveling.